What's up, everybody? Picture a single road carrying silk, gold, new gods, fresh crops, and a plague that wipes out half a continent. That's Unit 2, Networks of Exchange, roughly 1200 to 1450, when trade routes stitched Afro-Eurasia together tighter than ever before. Here's your map. The Silk Roads, the Mongol Empire, the Indian Ocean, and the Trans-Saharan Trade. And everything those networks carried: ideas, religions, crops, and disease. Stick with me to the very end, and I'll show you the single fastest way to lock all of this in before exam day. Let's get into it. Start here. The Silk Roads roar back to life. With strong empires like the Song providing stability, demand for luxury goods explodes, silk, porcelain, and spices flowing across Central Asia. Because these goods were light and high value, merchants could profit hauling them thousands of miles. To handle long journeys, two things grow up: caravanserai, roadside inns where traders rested camels and swapped goods, and new money technology like flying cash and bills of exchange, so merchants didn't carry heavy coins. Lock that in, commerce drove innovation. Now the game changer, the Mongols. Under Chinggis Khan, later called Genghis, nomadic horsemen conquered the largest contiguous land empire in human history, stretching from China to Eastern Europe. The College Board loves this next part. By unifying that vast space, the Mongols created the Pax Mongolica, the Mongol peace, that reconnected Afro-Eurasia and made the Silk Road safer than they'd been in centuries. One empire, one giant protected highway. And that safety is exactly what let trade and ideas move. Watch what crossed it next. Here's the payoff of that Mongol peace, and it's a guaranteed exam point. With the roads secure, technology and ideas raced across Eurasia. Gunpowder traveled west from China and would transform warfare. Numbering systems and other knowledge spread the same way. In China, the Mongols ruled as the Yuan dynasty, employing foreign administrators and welcoming merchants like Marco Polo. So the takeaway is cause and effect. The Mongols didn't just conquer, they facilitated trade and the transfer of technology that reshaped the whole hemisphere. Now swing to the water, the Indian Ocean, the busiest trade network of the whole era. The secret was the monsoon winds, predictable seasonal winds that blew one direction half the year and reversed the other, so sailors could plan round trips. They sailed ships called dhows, and because ships carry way more than camels, merchants move bulk goods, not just luxuries. This is the network where volume explodes. And wherever these traders landed, new connected port cities grew rich. Let's go see them. Trade built powerful hubs all around the Indian Ocean rim. On East Africa's coast, the Swahili city-states like Kilwa grew wealthy exporting gold and ivory, blending African and Islamic culture. Gujarat in India, and the port of Malacca controlling the strait both got rich taxing the trade flowing through. And merchants who settled far from home created diasporic communities, spreading their language and faith. Then early in the 1400s, China sent Admiral Zheng He on massive voyages across this ocean to show off Ming power. Remember these hubs. Now cross the desert, the Trans-Saharan Trade. The key technology here is the camel, plus the camel saddle, letting traders form caravans that crossed the brutal Sahara. What moved? Gold from West Africa traded for salt from the desert, the famous gold-salt trade. This wealth powered the Mali Empire, and Islam spread south along these same routes. So picture it, the desert wasn't a wall, it was a highway. And one Mali king turned that gold into the most famous journey of the age. Meet Mansa Musa, ruler of Mali, and possibly the richest person who ever lived. In 1324, he made his Hajj, his pilgrimage to Mecca, and he brought so much gold that he handed it out across Egypt and accidentally crashed its economy for years. Here's why the exam cares. His journey put Mali on European and Middle Eastern maps and showed the deep reach of Islam in West Africa. He's living proof that Trans-Saharan trade made African kingdoms global players. Now let's track what all this exchange spread. All these networks did more than move goods, they moved ideas, and the exam wants the consequences. Religion spread along trade routes, Islam across the Indian Ocean and the Sahara, Buddhism along the Silk Roads. Crops traveled too, bananas spread across Africa, citrus moved west, and fast-growing champa rice from Vietnam reached China and fueled a population boom. So the big idea is cultural diffusion. When people connect, their beliefs, technologies, and foods spread with them. But not everything that traveled was good. Here's the dark side of connection, the Black Death. The bubonic plague rode the very same trade routes the Mongols had secured, carried by fleas on rats moving along caravans and ships. In the mid-1300s, it swept across Afro-Eurasia and killed an estimated one-third of Europe's population, plus huge numbers in the Middle East and China. The exam's lesson is brutal but simple. The networks that spread wealth and ideas also spread disease. Connection cut both ways. One last consequence to nail. Last piece. The broader effects of all this trade. Cities at the crossroads boomed. Places like Hangzhou and Timbuktu grew into thriving centers of commerce and learning. But there's an environmental cost the College Board wants you to see. Intensified farming and trade strained the land, and overuse of resources could exhaust soil and water. So the pattern is everything. Networks of exchange drove growth in cities, culture, and population, but they also spread disease and pressured the environment. Connection reshaped the world. And that's AP World Unit 2. The Silk Roads with caravanserai and credit, the Mongols building the largest empire, and the Pax Mongolica, the Indian Ocean monsoon trade and Swahili city-states, the Trans-Saharan gold salt trade and Mansa Musa, plus the spread of religions, crops, and the Black Death. You just covered the whole thing. But here's the truth, watching is not the same as knowing. Head to AIM 5 and practice Unit 2 for free with instant feedback on every question. Links below. Now go get that 5, and I'll see you in Unit 3.